Hey, it's me, MLB. Yes, I am back with a brand new book, not rap. Sorry, guys. This one is the anticipated, not really, Bakugou x female listener x Kirishima. And yes, our yin in this one is a bigger bae. She is curvy, she is thick, she slays, she is her, and she's about to get them boys, hopefully, as well as becoming a baddie-ass hero. So here we go, let's get into it. This is Gains Chapter 1, titled, And So It Begins. Am I really doing this? You asked with a sigh as you slumped your elbow onto the windowsill of the car and pushed the palm of your fist to your cheek, staring glumly out the window. Oh, honey, your mum said sympathetically, reaching across to pat your knee with her hand, taking it off the steering wheel for a second to give you some reassuring touch. This will be good for you. I don't want to go to UA though. This was Dad's idea, you grumbled. Oh, you know him. He thinks the world of you. He knows you're going to shine, she said with another little pat to your knee, chuckling to herself about her little pun. You were used to the puns and jokes by now. The bullies at your first school had all of them down pat. Yin doesn't shine like the sun. She's fatter than the sun. Hey Yin, if you fart, is that like the equivalent of a solar flare? Don't get too close to Yin. You might get sucked into her black hole. There's not one joke about being fat or something to do with lights or planets that you hadn't heard. It hurt. You cried often about it. But you had learnt to go and hide first before crying, otherwise it would make the bullying worse. It sucked. Your mum was very sympathetic towards your plight, but she hadn't really helped. She too had suffered the same torture as a kid, and as a teen, and her solution was to reach for comfort food, so she taught you to do the same thing. Your dad was thinner than your mum and you, and he always made comments on your weight or the way your clothes fit, using your mum as an example of why you shouldn't eat what you were eating. If you keep on eating ice cream, you're going to end up the same size as your mum, he'd say. Why don't you go out for a walk in? You could stand to lose a few kilos. I'm telling you all this because I love you. Really, Dad? Is that what love is? Hurting someone with your words? You'd thought. You didn't want to tell your mum that you had still been awake when her and Dad were talking about moving you to UA. Your mum had just said that it was because he knew that you were going to shine, but that's not what he had said the night that he had pitched the idea to your mum. She needs to be in a program that's going to make her thin, you heard him say to your mum. UA isn't a weight loss program, your mum had replied. No, but it's a hero course. All the female heroes are thin. They'll kick her into shape, and plus, I have connections, your dad had said. Ugh, connections. It's always that damn connections card that gets pulled out. It annoyed the hell out of you that he used it for everything. Who would have thought that a quirk could end up being so annoying? You scowled to yourself while looking out the window. Oh, your mum suddenly said cheerfully, since you'd been silent for about 10 minutes now. I know, once you've had your uniform fitting, we can go and get some ice cream. What do you say? Your favourite. That'll cheer you up. Her bright smile only made your guts twist more. No, I don't feel like ice cream, you said sullenly as you looked from her back out the window. Oh, what about that new dessert place that opened up at the other end of town? You really enjoyed the chocolate double choc chip with white chocolate drizzle waffles, extra cream, didn't you? She asked, having memorised your order. You wavered. Those waffles had been god tier. Your mum saw that she had unearthed your weakness and pounced. Yes, it's settled. Uniform and then off to get some delicious waffles, she said triumphantly. I mean, what the hell, right? Treat yourself. Yeah, okay, you agreed glumly. She reached across and patted your knee again. There's my little sunshine. This is going to be great. And you know what? You were kind of looking forward to going to the uniform shop now because waffles would follow soon after. Today was pretty okay. After getting lost a few times, your mum finally found parking near the school and you and her walked to the ridiculously large gates at the entrance of the school. Oh my, she said as she leaned back a little to look up at the size of the gate. You hummed, looking up as well. Then she pressed the buzzer on the intercom and spoke to someone who'd let you both in. You'd been told to enter the front doors of the school building, and then turn left and head down the hall and the uniform shop would be on your right at the end. What a lovely neat schoolyard, your mum commented as you walked side by side towards the front doors of the building. It was all very quiet and you were grateful for that. You didn't need to deal with people staring at you. Putting your head down, you just followed where your mum went and stayed by her side as you headed down the hall to the door at the end and waited as she did a cheery knock-knock on the door to be let in. A kindly lady opened the door and after your mum had explained what you needed, you were ushered in to get your UA uniform. Just jump into the change room, the lady said, as she walked to the rack at the back of the room and slid some of the clothes aside to check their size and type. So you'll need a school uniform and a sports uniform, she said. You'll be getting your own hero costume in due time, but the class you're joining hasn't completed their designs yet, so there's no rush to submit yours. You just nodded from where you were now standing inside the change room. You knew she couldn't hear you if you just nodded, but you figured that she was speaking more to your mum than you anyway. Okay, the lady hummed as she looked at a few more things. What size are you then? She asked. Panic. Oh, 12, I think. That's about right, isn't it, darling? Your mum called to you from outside the change room. I'm pretty sure I've never been a size 12, you thought internally. Before you could say anything, a school uniform was flopped over the stall door onto your side and you took it and pulled it down. I already know this isn't going to fit, you thought with dread as you started undressing. You purposefully kept your back to the mirror in there. You already knew what you looked like. You didn't need to hate yourself again for the 50th time that morning. Taking the hanger out of the uniform, you unzipped the side of the skirt and stepped into it and pulled it up. Your thighs were already slaying out the sides, and there was no way in hell that zipper was going to close. You said softly, staring down at your hip bulging out the side of the skirt. Could I try the next size up? You said in the softest voice ever. Sorry, love? Your mum asked from the other side. The sizes are out, are they? She turned to the lady. I think the sizing is off. The size 12 probably is more like an 8. Can we try the 14 or 16? I'm pretty sure I'm a 20, you thought with humiliation. While the lady was getting a size or two larger for you, your mum was talking about how all the ladies in her family were all big-boned, a term that you'd heard so many times you may as well have had it branded on your arm. Size 14 and 16 were yeet over the stall door for you, and as you feared, size 16 was still a little too small. When only silence came from your side after being asked how you were going, your mum jumped into action again. Can I see what you have there? She asked the lady, walking over to the rack to see the sizes. I think this one will be more her size. The others have just been labelled wrong, she said dismissively as she pulled the skirt from the end of the rack out and walked back to your stall door to hand it over to you. You took it as she put it over the door and quickly slipped out the other one and then put this one on. It fit. You checked the size. Size 22. Wow. You could hear your mum talking away on the other side to the lady, but they sounded so far away. Your eyes were glued to the number printed on the tag. It felt like the numbers were lifting off the tag and being dragged into your eyeballs. Honey, does it fit? You finally heard your mum ask. Yeah, you replied numbly. Wonderful, she replied happily, then spoke to the lady again, but you didn't hear what she said. You were just trying to get out of these satanic clothes and back into your comfy oversized shirt with no tag and your baggy jeans that had had the tag taken off them years ago. Peace reigned when you were back in your non-labelled, comfy-fitting clothes again. You carried the uniform skirt that fit back out of the change room, and your mum worked her magic to get you a matching school shirt that was the same size without any extra embarrassment from you, then the sports uniform in the same size, and then she paid for them and you both left. Awesome. Round 1 done, and now you could eat and make yourself feel better and you didn't have to go through that again. You were so relieved to be leaving that you were target fixated on the door ahead and didn't feel one of the uniform pieces slip out from your grasp and fall to the floor. The uniform piece had been placed in a plastic cover and they slipped against each other easily. It was only as you got to the door that you heard someone call out to you. Oi! They shouted, and you couldn't help but feel like it was directed at you. So you stopped and looked back over your shoulder. Bakugou, don't yell, man, you heard someone else say, and your eyes fell on a blonde guy and a redhead, both standing in the hallway behind where you had just come from. Pick up your crap, the blonde yelled to you, and you just blinked at him. Don't be rude, the redhead said with concern as he picked up something off the floor and then walked quickly over to you. Hi, I'm sorry. You dropped this. Here. He held the uniform in the plastic sleeve out to you, and you looked down at it, and then everything clicked. Oh, you said with surprise. Sorry, I didn't notice it dropped, thank you, you said, as you took it from him and tried not to drop the other items, keeping your eyes on the floor. It's no trouble. I'm sorry for my friend's rude behaviour, he added with an apologetic bow. Don't apologise, you stupid-head freak, the blonde yelled, stalking up behind the redhead, who was still mid-bow, and chopped him on the back of the head. This caused you to look up. Ow, man, the redhead hissed, grabbing the back of his head and rubbing it where he'd been smacked. The blonde had now made direct eye contact with you, and you just froze. Was he going to make a comment? Was this guy going to be your bully? Why hadn't he said anything? Get lost, he finally snarled out and spun away. grabbing the back of the redhead's shirt and dragging him away as well. Bro, what? Why? I'm sorry, the redhead called to you again. You watched them go with a confused look on your face. What on earth? Your mum asked with confusion, having been a step or two ahead of you and witnessed this whole thing. That was so weird, you said as you shook your head and caught up with her, and then you both headed out of the building together. But those guys kept playing in your mind. That was the most unusual interaction you'd ever had with another set of humans. And there is the end of chapter 1 of Gains. I do understand that Yin's size doesn't fit everyone else's size out there, but I needed to put numbers on it just to give a bit of clarification so that the rest of the book makes sense. I do hope that her struggles as a bigger bae is relatable though, and that you enjoy the story. I'll see you tomorrow for the next chapter. See you then.